there's a really large mining community behind
Mm.
Ethereum that have invested thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars into mining equipment and making video cards extremely expensive. Will they give it up and let Ethereum move to proof of stake that easily? Would they fork the chain? I don't know.
Hi, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about something very interesting. This is something that we have not really talked about a lot in the show, but we're going to do a deep dive on Cardano. We're going to talk about ADA in general and how you can take advantage of the opportunities as well as we take a deeper understanding into this. And we have a very, very special guest from down under. We have Pete Buey joining us in the podcast. I'll talk more about what he does in his staking pools later on. But Pete, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
And I'm well, and thank you so much for having me on your on your channel.
What was your journey like to cryptocurrencies? What was your switch that okay, I think this is something that's not going to zero. What caused you to enter in it?
Oh my god. I think getting into crypto. It's one of my friends that invited me in or wrote me in and threw me down a deep well of amazing blockchain technology. But I think the first thing that really drew me in was the technology itself and what it could actually do. So I'm a tech person, and looking at the technology, I did believe, and I do believe in blockchain and what it can bring for different industries and whatnot. So I think that's what really drew me into blockchain in general. But then, it's the side offering of being able to make money off of it as an investment, as a speculative asset. I think that's a really nice side part of loving the technology.
You mentioned about technology, you mentioned about the speculative part of it also and earning. Uh, how did you transition into going into Cardano? Because majority of I guess everyone passes through Bitcoin first before they go into other tokens or coins as well. Why why did you pick Cardano, and what made Cardano for you one of the best tokens slash cryptos to invest into?
Yeah, okay. I'll probably go back a little bit to 2017. So when I first started my crypto journey, I was probably more so invested in ETH back then,
Mm.
and you know the whole smart contract idea and being able to run applications on a blockchain, I thought it was absolutely amazing. Absolutely loved it. And then the point of mining to validate the blockchain, the proof of work protocol, I thought it was really cool as well. So I was mining ETH at home. So I had a computer set up. I was going through the whole process of trying to earn as much ETH as possible, not just buy and trade, actually earn. Well, it's you can buy, trade, and you can make mistakes. So one day you're up, and then the next day you have that emotional trade, and then you lose it all. But if you're mining in the background, you just leave the computer on, you go to work, you come back, and you make a little bit of ETH. So that's what really got me into the technology side of things and working with it that way. But over the years, since 2017, we had that massive bull run, then the crash, and then that long winter where nothing much happened. And that's pretty much when I stepped away from crypto a little bit and just held on to assets until things started heating up again. And then in 2020, late 2020, I started looking back into mining and seeing if it was worth it. But the electricity prices here in Australia were just too high. So I moved around. It's just not worth it. It's just not profitable. So it's I live in a really hot part of Australia in Queensland. Not as hot as the Philippines, but you got to run air conditioning to run these mining operations, and it's just not worth it. So I found out that Cardano had just had its Merry Hard fork, and they now allowed for staking on their protocol, which was absolutely fantastic. So I got into the ICO back in 2017.
Whoa.
I was still holding on to my Cardano since then, pretty much because I didn't know what to do with it. But then the staking protocol came out, and I thought, oh, great, okay, I'll stake my ADA and see what comes out of it. I was getting some decent rewards after a few months, and I was like, oh, okay, great, cool. I'll switch a couple of pools, trying to learn a little bit more about the staking process, but it still didn't really pick it up until about January, when I did a deep dive into the actual staking protocol, how it works, how much money I should be actually earning from staking. And then I went, wow, okay, this is really interesting. I should get into this more. And in all of 2020, I spent working on AWS servers, getting my certificate in that as well. So, setting up a stake pool for myself was quite easy. And the barrier to entry for staking and being a stake pool operator is very, very low. So if you've got that technical knowledge of being able to set up a server and you have the ADA, you can set up a stake pool fairly easily and get up and running. But there's a couple of things I didn't know when setting up a stake pool that you had to be really good at. And that was mainly behind marketing and being customer service centric and getting people to stake to your stake pool. That's the hard bit about running a stake pool.
What made it stand out from other cryptos with staking? Because we have a lot of blockchains also that allow staking, and then we also have a lot that are into the smart contract side of things. What was the one thing, or at least what were the factors that led you to continually maybe add into your Cardano position, or not even sell your positions as well?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So ETH2 may come out one day, and that was an attractive offer as well. So I was looking into that, but there were a couple of downsides, and one was the amount of ETH that you needed to run a validator node. It's out of reach of a lot of people's hands these days. So it makes ETH staking as a validator quite difficult. It's too expensive. I think it was 32 ETH. So that wasn't an option. There are some third-party protocols that let you get into it as well. And I do hold some of those tokens. So maybe one day when it's available and we can stake, I will be staking via that. So ETH staking, maybe one day, if it ever happens, if they ever transition from proof of work. Sol, Polkadot, and can't remember another one off the top of my head. I did have a brief look at those, but what really attracted me to Cardano and kept on me coming back to it was all the other different layers that Cardano has and all the research behind it that makes it really stand out. So every part of Cardano, from the scalability, from the governance to the actual staking model itself, had been researched for years. So since 2015, there's white paper after white paper. I think there's over 100 different white papers, all academically reviewed, peer reviewed. And it just makes it such thorough, researched and developed a blockchain that makes it, for me, feel like it's a lot better investment than any of the others. I'm not saying that the others weren't researched and weren't thought about. It's just that every single aspect had been thought about. There's a whole white paper on the governance and the treasury side of Cardano, which got me really excited. I did a whole podcast episode about it, Project Catalyst. I read the white paper. It's like 60 something pages. I went through every last bit, and the idea of how to run the treasury system behind it to keep a blockchain functioning and developing beyond 100, 150 years, I thought was just amazing. Who thinks of that, really?
A lot of people will see also how useful it is based on the apps that are built on top of it. How do you think it will go in terms of getting more users to enter the Cardano system, not just buying ADA and also not just staking it, but actual users of whatever applications that are available as well. Because I've seen the ecosystem. Everything that you see in BSC and in Ethereum is also available in Cardano. So when do you think there will be like a switch that, whoa, suddenly tons of users are here, NFT artists are here as well?
Well, we're starting to see, well, the NFT space is starting to bloom. That's a definite. We're starting to see that shift happening. It's just a lot of people don't realize that it's possible. A lot of the NFT marketplaces that are built on Cardano are actually still waiting for the smart contracts rollout to actually start offering some of the same features as the existing ones on the other networks. So we're essentially everyone's just waiting for that September 12th date for Alonzo to arrive and smart contracts to arrive for a lot of these things to actually happen. But just a note, like on that date, there'll be smart contracts available on the network, but not all the projects will be ready yet. So, the NFT marketplace is booming and it will grow. A lot of really cool projects are on there. And it's really cool to see. But one of the really big factors that I see projects transitioning from other blockchains to Cardano is little things like high transaction fees, or slow transaction times, or the inability to actually scale to the point where Cardano is at the moment. So it's just little things like that which will attract users to a different blockchain. Like for myself, I missed out on the whole decentralized exchange experience of 2020. And to get in now, you have to just experiment with it. To provide liquidity to a pool, you would have to provide such a high amount of currency, fiat, to get into a liquidity pool to buy ETH and USDC or USDT, for example, provide it to a pool, pay for the transaction fees, just to experiment around it. And I find that a huge barrier for a lot of people that are just getting into crypto, don't understand it, and think, wow, I have to pay 200 USD in fees just to experiment with this. And that's not a good experience, not for someone new that's coming into the ecosystem. So it's little things like that. And then like a couple of the really cool features that Cardano has is like the ERC20 converter and bridges between different chains. So projects that are built on Ethereum at the moment can convert their projects to Cardano quite easily using these converter tools. So they where their ecosystem is at the moment, and users are stuck with those high fees, they can convert their whole projects over to Cardano, take advantage of the higher transaction speeds and lower transaction fees, and then work with their community that way to transition them over. So that's something really exciting and really cool. And I know a lot of DEXs and projects are working on things like that.
That comparison is Cardano versus ETH as proof of work, or is it something head to head, or will it go toe to toe also when ETH transitions to 2.0?
When Ethereum moves over to proof of stake, we don't really know what's going to happen with the ecosystem. So there's also angst in moving to it as well. Will it actually happen? I really don't know, because there's a really large mining community behind Ethereum that have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into mining equipment and making video cards extremely expensive. Will they give it up and let Ethereum move to proof of stake that easily? Would they fork the chain? I don't know. So it's I just don't see it happening anytime soon, because they're making so much money from the transaction fees. So it's that's one thing. But eventually, maybe proof of stake will solve some of these issues with the lower transaction fees. They still have to solve the scalability of the network, though. So just moving to proof of stake isn't the be all end all solution. There's a lot of things that they need to solve. And doing it while running the entire blockchain as it is at the moment is just a mammoth task. It's just a hard thing to do. And will they be able to do it? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just skeptical of when that may happen. I know like a lot of ETH maxis say, Cardano doesn't even have smart contracts, but it's just next month it'll be here. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I no idea when ETH2 will come around.
Since you're heavily into Cardano, what do you think will cause Cardano to flip ETH? Because there's also a discussion ETH will flip Bitcoin, but from the Cardano side, what do you think will be the perfect conditions for that to actually happen? Because right now Cardano is already ahead of BNB as well. So very very interesting to note what will bring it to number two.
I have to honestly say I don't know. Other than bringing in that value and bringing in the users to the ecosystem, so that there's more the market cap rises. I really can't say what will make that flip. Maybe a lot of Ethereum-based projects will move to Cardano. Maybe there'll be more awareness of the smart contracts, DApps. Maybe more governments will actually pick up some of the solutions that Cardano has been creating, such as digital identities and using it as digital currencies, even. So it's maybe some of those aspects will be the catalyst to promote and push Cardano over the point to reach number two or even
Got
number
it.
one.
Will you ever sell your Cardano? Will there ever be a point that whatever price you believe Cardano will hit, will you sell, or will you be like a lot of those people who love Bitcoin so much that they won't sell it no matter what happens? What's your take on that? Hodl Cardano forever, or is there a point that you'll have to take it out also and maximize those gains?
Well, an appreciating asset, I don't believe in selling. It's
Mm.
kind of like a property.
Mm.
So you can look at it at any type of asset. So if you're investing in anything, and let's take property for example, you can buy the property. Usually, most places, the property value appreciates over a certain amount of time. I know here in Australia, property just goes crazy. So it's quite easy to buy property and ride the gains on property. So in my point of view, you should be using that as an asset to leverage so you can buy new assets or use that to live off. So either you rent it out or you take another mortgage on that to buy another asset so you can rent the second asset out. So yeah, little things like that. And it's the same with the crypto. So it's not possible at the moment, but there are a lot of projects that are working in the Cardano space that will allow you to take out a loan and use your ADA as collateral. So I'm waiting for that point in time where that will come out and be a possibility, so I don't ever have to sell my crypto assets.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense.
There's tax benefits there, all sorts of things. But you know, these projects that are doing that and providing the decentralized finance part of the ecosystem will let me lock in like 10,000 ADA into a smart contract. I can take out half of that value in fiat, use that for whatever I want, like a year's worth of expenses, maybe one day. And then with the appreciating asset value in the smart contract being locked, and also the staking rewards, the loan will actually pay off itself over time. So
looking at ADA, we're below 3, somewhere around 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, somewhere around that area. I'm sure a lot of people who are new might be asking this, that, okay, it's easy for him to hold ADA because he was in it when it was below 1. How about for people who are just learning about this now, and ADA has gone up a large bit already over the past 2 years? At 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, somewhere around 3, is it still a good area for them to dabble into this, or should they wait for another correction for ADA for them to be able to position?
one, personally, I think you could buy any time and just do a buying down average. So your buying average price eventually goes down. So if you buy now and the price drops by 10% next week, buy a little bit more so that average buy price of your total portfolio is lower. I also believe in looking at some fundamental indicators on charts to let you know if you're buying at a really high point in the market where it's a lot of excitement. So I look at those indicators and go, no, I'll stay clear. It's too hot at the moment. I'll wait for a major correction. So it's a bit of both.
Mm.
I do a buying down average and also look at indicators to make sure I'm not buying when it's too hot.
What was going through your head when ADA was nearing 3 a couple of days ago? And what was also going through your head when ADA hit 1 from 2.4 last May 19, 2021? So,
When it was peaking and going up, I was looking for exit points
mm,
to sell. But I was in two minds. It's like, should I sell or should I just wait? Because in this one, I could not tell or could not predict when it would correct. So I wasn't sure if it's peaking and then would stay and stabilize and then increase again, and I would miss that correction. So I didn't sell. But in that last correction in May or whenever it was, I just had open buy orders opened all the way down to the last resistance point, which was around $1. So I just bought all the way down as it crashed. There were two corrections. I bought the second one when it was going all the way down, but the first one I completely missed out because I couldn't log into the exchange.
did you ever feel that, oh, I should have sold at 2.4 and then just got back in?
Mainly because I've gone through this all before in 2017. So I've seen it crash to almost nothing. I watched Cardano go to its first all-time high. I watched my friend cash out and make a huge amount of money. I regretted it that I didn't sell and watched it almost go down to its ICO price of like 5 cents. So I've ridden that train and seen it go all the way up and down, and now I have a long-term perspective of investing. So these troughs that happen every day, I don't really look at it. Zoom out on the chart and look at a price over a month or price over a year. My plan is like a 10-year plan. So
When you say you're gonna sell, you say you're bringing it to a stable coin, or you're totally bringing it to fiat altogether?
usually a stable coin.
Mm.
It's because I know I'm just going to buy in again very soon.
So it's just really an opportunity to lock in the gains and then buy more when it drops at a certain point.
Correct. That's right.
Got it. And now this is something very interesting, because we were talking about this a while ago, that Cardano is into proof of stake, and there might be a lot of people watching this now that are not aware about staking, how proof of stake actually work. I want to start this off on number one. What is staking? And for those who really don't know what it is, a lot of people just actually buy the crypto and thinking that, okay, I'll just hold on to this, then later on when I'm up, I'm gonna sell, not knowing that there are ways for them also to make their cryptocurrencies grow without even selling it yet, and just by holding on to it.
So in the ETH space, miners get rewarded transaction fees. So that's the part of the Ethereum blockchain where the validators are the miners. They provide the computational power via their video cards, their computers, to validate the blockchain. In the Cardano space, the validation happens via stake pools that operate the entire network. So these stake pools are connected to all the other stake pools, maybe 20 at a time, each one of the pools. And the stake pools that have the most amount, not necessarily the most, but a lot of delegation, a lot of ADA that is staked to them, will be randomly selected by the protocol, the Ouroboros protocol, to validate the blockchain. So that's a whole premise of proof of stake. You put your ADA delegated to a particular stake pool, it will validate the blockchain, and for doing that, you get rewarded. You get rewarded 5.5% on whatever you've staked to that particular pool. So if you staked 100 ADA, you get 5.5% of that compounded every 5 days over a year. So that's 5.5% per annum.
Got
So
it.
that's the really cool benefit of it, and something that really attracted me to it. So it's I could mine on my computer for 24 hours a day, and it gets really noisy and hot, or I could do it all in the cloud on a stake pool. You don't even need to be an operator. You just need to point your wallet to a stake pool. It doesn't ever leave your wallet, which is an extra bonus. You actually control your ADA. You can move it to an exchange at any point in time and sell it if you need to. So that's a really attractive way of staking and validating the network and getting value out of it.
What's the purpose of a stake pool in and of itself? Can't they just stake it all together into another node?
Okay, the stake pool itself, like I mentioned, it's just there to provide it provides the service of allowing users to delegate their ADA to a particular pool, but they're the ones that connect the network together. So there's about almost 3,000 stake pools on the network at the moment, and a stake pool is made up of a block producer that produces the blocks and validates the network, and also the relays, which connect all the parts of the network together to allow it to communicate globally. So that network will allow the decentralized apps to work, and the block producers that are behind the relays will validate all the transactions and all the transactions on the smart contracts eventually when it's released, so it will work as well. If you yourself were holding and staking ADA and you went, yeah, I want to start my own stake pool so I can increase my gains, you need to ask yourself, do you have the technical skills? Or do you know someone with the technical skills that you can team up with? Do you have enough ADA to guarantee that you mint a block every single epoch? And do you have the marketing skills to attract more people so you can grow from that initial stake of 1 million, 2 million, 3 million ADA to the highest saturation point, which is 65 million ADA?